to Garden Talk with Jason and Don. Tonight, Why My Exes Are My Exes, Part 2. Viewer discretion is advised.
Garden Talk with Jason Dunn. Or Desk Talk with Jason Dunn.
Or we could call it the other side of the garden.
Film the cough. This is why you shouldn't smoke.
If we have a sponsor for this, it'll have to be somebody that has cough medicine.
A cough medicine. It'll have to be a cough medicine. We haven't done sponsorship in a while. I was going to do one tonight, but I forgot to bring over whatever it was, and I don't want to get it. We'll have to do another time. I know what it was going to do. I was going to do what our sponsor was not. Again. And what our sponsor was not was that little... Oh, we are recording. Is that little speaker thing that Best Buy said? This is all you need to just plug this in, and this will be great. It's on sale for $29 from whatever, and it had a rating of a 1.2. I mean, shit. Everybody won't sync, doesn't work, screwed up my phone. All of them. Shouldn't have read the reviews, and I just figured if it was at Best Buy, it was obviously a good product. Because this guy was happy, the salesman was happy to recommend it.
Especially for $29, that's a...
Well, it was 32 attacks.
Okay.
It may have been 39 and 42 attacks. Anyways, it wasn't that expensive. It was cheaper than the $80 Sony
now
one.
we know why.
Well,
it didn't work.
It didn't work, yeah. Like those cheap lenses that we... God. The apothecary lens or whatever it was called. Anamorphic is what I wanted to get, the anamorphic lens. But they don't make the anamorphic lens for this. It's only for iPhone. And I don't want to get an iPhone just so I can put an anamorphic lens. It's a big square professional. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the next big thing, but they're only available for iPhone.
Really? Mm.
But I wanted to finish the story about Joe.
Okay.
And the psych ward. And so, back to that story about Joe and the psych ward. So they say, "Where do you want to go?" And he, like I said, this is where we cut off. And he said, "I want to go to Manhattan, over the bridge, into the fancy place where his famous doctor who wrote a book and this big gay doctor in New York would see him." And they said, "Nope." Nope. If you want that, call a taxi. And but since you already said you're going to kill yourself, we're going to take you somewhere. You got choice A or choice B. And I don't care. Well, as soon as he left, I called his brother on the phone. I said, they just hauled Joe into the psych ward. I got sick of hearing him say he was going to kill himself, and I finally followed through on my threat that I was going to call 911, and he is gone. And Rick said, "Do you know where they took him?" And I said, "Don't know, don't care." I said, "You're his brother. You can call I think I said something like, "You're his brother. You can call the police station." I have absolutely no idea where he went. So, wherever he was, Rick said it was not a good place.
Really?
It was a shithole. Because if he'd have gone to the place he wanted, he'd had a private room and one-on-one group therapy and aromatherapy, and it was all... That's not where he went.
Like a spa, almost.
Yeah, that's not where he went. Think of the movie 12 Monkeys. That's the way he described it. He calls me on the phone. Now, I don't know how he got his phone, because they were going to keep him for a week. They kept him on a 72-hour hold, and he still was...
Goofy?
Foot to each other, so they're going to keep him for another 72 hours, maybe longer. But he wasn't supposed to have his phone or call me, but he got a hold of his phone. He was a smooth talker. Talked to anybody. "Oh, I'm not supposed to have my phone," but anyway, he called And once I knew it was Joe, I looked at it and I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm not answering that. Elmhurst something.
Elmhurst.
It was something like
Sanitarium.
like that. Yeah, it was some Elmhurst or something like that. And I'm like, oh hell no. And Jason, it's Joe. He would leave these.
He left a message on your.
I feel like Bruce Willis in 12 Monkeys in a fucking insane asylum. It's horrible here. And they have me handcuffed to a bed in a hallway. And I just thought, oh, you poor thing.
Did you want that brown bottle you were looking for?
So I call Rick on his cell phone. He. What was weird was he wasn't calling. He was calling on my. He was calling about the home line, his home line, and my line. So I called Rick and had him listen to the voicemail, and Rick started laughing. He said, "Well, that'll teach him." Threatened to kill himself, and I said, "I've threatened him for 20-some years. I'm gonna fucking call the police. I'm gonna have your ass hauled away." Sorry you couldn't go to the beach club. Yeah. It said you settled for the 12 Monkeys 18th century style insane asylum. We were handcuffed to a bed. Because he was handcuffed and his leg was cuffed too. And people were roaming the hallway. I heard people yelling and screaming in the background. And I just thought, oh, you poor thing. You're not so special anymore. That American Express card ain't get you nowhere, is it?
He should have paid it. They might have gotten him somewhere.
Well,
just having it that has no money on it's no way of doing anything.
It was 48 hours without him calling, and after 48 hours, he got a hold of his phone. And like I said, Rick had called me and said they were going to keep him for another 72, but somehow he got a hold of the phone, which he wasn't supposed to have, which shows me the quality of the place that he's at. Because Rick said he talked to, because Rick was his power attorney. Rick talked to whoever, and he wasn't supposed to have a cell phone until he was going to leave. So I thought, well, it's going to be a week of silence. Yes, nice.
When's this party start?
No party. It's just I just get a fucking week to myself. A week of vacation. It didn't last a week. And then he just kept calling.
That's sometimes worse than having them there.
Oh my God. Well. Here's the thing. He would call and he wouldn't leave a message. And that's Joe. He would call and he wouldn't leave a message. And he would call and he wouldn't leave a message. After the first few times when he was complaining about the 12 Monkey style insane asylum from the 17th century or whatever, and then he just wouldn't leave a message. He would just call. But that's how he was. And he said before, what he's told everybody is, I don't like messages because it gives out the power of control. Like, yeah, but we've seen you called. There's caller ID.
You're giving up your soul.
Yeah, dude, there's caller ID. We can see you've called 200 times in the past hour. I mean, come on. There's not giving up. We know it's you. The gig is up. And anyways, they were still supposed to keep him for a couple more days. And all of a sudden one afternoon he bursts in the fucking door in his trench coat without any pants on. And he was wearing boxers. And I just thought, oh, Lord, here we go again. And I said, where are your pants? And he said, well, I shit on them. So I just took them off and threw them in the garbage at the subway and just came. I was just so classy.
How did he do that without getting in his underwear?
Well, he had this really heavy trench coat. That's a funny story about the trench coat. He had this really heavy leather, full-on leather trench coat. And he popped. And he showed me this trench coat that he paid an ungodly amount of money for.
Was American Express?
What?
You bought it with his American Express?
Probably the one that's overdrawn. Oh yeah, the story about the overdrawn. Then we still got another to overdrawn. Cigar store. Amex. Meltdown. That was a good one. That's a good one. But no. What were we talking about? What was it?
You said he came in the door
with
his
his boxers, and I could see his boxers because he hadn't bothered to button up the trench coat, but you could he had his pants, and I'm thinking At least he has pants on. But if he shit himself, wouldn't have got in the boxers.
That's what I thought. Get there
And I was
first.
like, this story made no sense whatsoever. And I just said, okay, welcome home. Well, I have to get to the rehab in downtown Manhattan. That's where I'm going. And I said, okay,
When do you have to go?
right then.
He just got home and he has to go back.
Well, no, he wasn't in rehab. And oh no. I called his union boss, who I knew, and whenever we got him set up to go back and do meetings at the fancy rehab that he wanted to, and of course it was my fault, and it was Alan's fault, and
Rick's fault.
Who's that? Did you say who's Alan?
No, I said Rick's fault.
It was Rick's fault. It was Christmas's fault. It was his mother's fault, who ruined his life when he was 3 years old because she got pregnant and had his brother, and his brother ruined his life when he was born because
That
I
was
was
Rick.
no longer the center of attention.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all heard these stories. These are all the stories of Joe.
We should call this segment "The Story of Joe."
Story. No, what it's going to be called is Mary's Gone Round the Bend. Is what it's called. And there's a funny story about that phrase, but it's from the '90s, and that's Mary's Gone Round the Bend, is what John Price would say about Joe, and Joe just went too far, which was almost every night.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.